What a head, son! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to bring you guys my chip strategy for the upcoming game weeks, or at least from now till the end of the season. As I've mentioned in the earlier videos, I was waiting for the conclusion of the FA Cup 4th round. That's concluded, we have all our predictions, and now we can actually look at the double game weeks and the blanks coming up with a little bit of a clearer image of who could potentially blank in that big blank game week 30. Now, just for some context, I do not have the first free hit. I actually used it a couple of game weeks ago. I only have one free hit left, but I have every other chip, which includes the second wildcard, the bench boost, and the triple captain. Now, don't worry if you guys have different chip strategies to myself. Throughout this video, I'll be giving you guys some pointers of what game weeks you can use these chips in. Then right at the end of the video, I'll give you a concrete template kind of chip strategy as well as my own. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So let's first talk about the short-term schedule. If you guys did watch a video I created a couple of days ago, I went over the schedule, but now let's go a little bit more in depth and talk about who blanks and who doubles. So from game week 24 to 27, we have a couple blank game weeks and also some doubles and potential doubles. So game week 24, as you guys know, is going to be a blank game week. Game week 25 is a blank / a double. Game week 26 is that big double coming up that I'm sure most of us will target our transfers for. And then game week 27 is actually a blank, but could potentially become a double game week. Now, who are these blanks and doubles for? Well, that's where we're going to go into a little bit more detail. So the upcoming double game week 24 blank is going to be for Brighton and Chelsea. Game week 25 is going to be a blank for Arsenal and also Chelsea, but I just generally think most of us will target those Arsenal assets and not those Chelsea assets. And game week 25 is also a double game week for United and then Brighton as well. Now for game week 26, I'm not going to talk about every single double game week team. I made an entire video detailing the fixtures, who to kind of target from those respective teams. So let's skip that one for now and focus on game week 27, which is going to be a blank game week for Arsenal and then also Liverpool. Now the double game week has been predicted by Ben Crellin. Right now what he says is that he does expect Burnley to have a potential double in that one, but there also could be a double game week for Aston Villa and some other sides. But that is just speculation right now, and that's why if you guys did watch my team selection, probably going to bank a transfer this week just to give myself as much time as possible for these fixtures to be announced, and then we can act on those announcements. But kind of why I wanted to focus on the short-term schedule before we look at the more long-term one is that I do think we have to focus on what's in front of us, and currently the concrete doubles and blanks are what you guys see on screen. And I think the most important thing to take out of this talking point is that Arsenal do have a blank in game week 25 and 27, but have a really respectable double in game week 26. Now I think most of us also have gone for a triple up, double up. I'm sure by the time we all bring in Mo Salah, we're going to have a triple up yet again of those Liverpool assets, and that blank game week 27 could be quite tricky to kind of navigate with all those players. So this is probably the first time in this video that I'm going to mention the free hit in blank game week 27. Now if it does become a double game week, I think that makes it even better of a free hit game week, because the teams that double, Burnley, Aston Villa, not many of us FPL managers have those assets. So that's the first chip for a short-term perspective. I think the free hit in game week 27 could be quite an easy one to use, and the main reason for that is that you guys can then focus on those double game week players, the Arsenals, the Liverpools especially, stack your teams full of them and still reap the rewards in game week 27 when they do blank. I think for myself, if this does become a double game week, I will 100% free it in this respective game week, just because that makes it an even easier option to free it, even though I only have one left in my pocket. But now moving on to the second chip that you guys could potentially use is going to be double game week 26, a really respectable double game week as I mentioned. Lots of teams have great fixtures, however the caliber of those teams might not be that great. I personally really favor Arsenal and Liverpool, which you guys can kind of see that free hit in game week 27 yet again being spoken about, but I do think after those two teams, the fixtures drop off by quite a large margin. But it is a double game week, and what happens in a double game week? We use the bench boost or the triple captain, and I think double game week 26 provides an excellent opportunity for both of those chips. Now what I want you guys to do is go plan your transfers for the upcoming game weeks up until game week 26 and look at the bench that you would have, and I think that might put a little bit of doubt in your mind about the triple captaincy chip. Now I think this will be the main debate about game week 26, and the main reason for that is that it's an excellent opportunity to whip out the triple captain and put it on a Mo Salah who has Leeds at home and also Norwich at home. Now I do think if Mo Salah was guaranteed to start both those games, play 90 minutes, all of us would be triple captaining him, but that Leeds fixture does come 4 days before the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley, and I'm pretty sure Klopp might rotate in preparation for that fixture. So as I said, do your own little bit of analysis on your team, plan the transfer that you want to do in your mind, game week 24, game week 25, leading up to game week 26 deadline, look at your bench and actually work out, maybe do a little bit of a prediction who you think will score more, a bench boost or a triple captain. I'll give you guys my opinion on that a little bit later in the video. But now kind of continuing on the trend of the short-term future, what I wanted to show you guys is a little bit of a tool or website that is quite popular, but you guys might not know about it. So what you guys can see on screen here is my team for blank game week 27, or at least my current team with no transfers. And how I've actually made this possible was I went over to FPL.team, a website that has a couple of tools that you guys can make use of, but they also give you a really nice transfer planner or planning ahead tool. So I guess that's one of the negatives about the Fantasy Premier League website, is that they don't let you plan for the future. They do give you some upcoming fixtures, but nowhere near as what FPL.team does. And that's why I really have been enjoying using the website, at least for the past couple of game weeks. So you guys know when I said plan your transfers for game week 26, look at blank game week 27. This is the website to do it on. I'm not being sponsored by them. Let's just get that out there. It's a free website. So I'm not getting paid to tell you guys this, but I do think it's a really useful website. And you guys can do that analysis on your team, plan your transfers, and see how your squad's looking for the upcoming game weeks. Now, why I did mention blank game week 27 for my own team here is that I wanted to show you guys the current team that I would have if I make no transfers, but with myself banking a transfer probably for the upcoming game week 24, I'll have about 3 transfers before game week 26 is double, and I might actually bank a transfer in that one and take 2 transfers into blank game week 27. Now I think Salah will definitely be coming in for De Bruyne pre-game week 26. So now I'm bringing him in and he doesn't even have a fixture in blank game week 27. But what I might do is I might do some changes, take out on Alonso, bring in some other alternatives so that my bench is going to be stacked with those Liverpool assets. So right now the team looks a bit average for blank game week 27. It doesn't look too great, doesn't look too bad, but I don't think I'll be getting too many points, or at least a green arrow, if I do save the free hit in game week 27. But I think I might get away with it, and that's why I'm currently holding it in my back pocket, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Just wanted to give a shout out to FPL.team, as I think you guys can make great use out of this tool. But now that we've kind of spoken about the short term, I want to go a little bit more into the distance and talk about the biggest blank game week of the season. And that's going to be blank game week 30. So you guys will see the graphic on the screen is the FA Cup 5th round draw. Probably asking me, why do I have this on the screen? This is an FPL channel, not an FA Cup fantasy channel. But this is going to give us an indication of who we can kind of predict that will blank in game week 30. And the reason we can do that is that the next round, or the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, clash with game week 30, and therefore if a team progresses in the 5th round to the quarterfinals, they will have a blank fixture in that game week. So obviously the 5th round draw carries a massive amount of importance, because if a team has a great prediction of scoring or at least winning in this fixture, they will have a blank in the upcoming game weeks. So what goes and happens, the 5th round draw takes place and every single Prem team has a relatively respectable or easier fixture. Now I know before you guys go in the comments and tune me about saying this, I do think that the FA Cup has that magic. Obviously you can never predict football games and there might be some major upsets here, but on paper, according to the betting odds, everything like that, these fixtures, the Prem teams should progress. The only fixture that I guess adds a little bit of controversy is going to be Southampton versus West Ham, as both of these two are Prem sides. Liverpool do take on Norwich, but I think that they should be beating Norwich on paper, but there always could be an upset, as I said. Every other team from a Prem point of view has a great fixture, and they should beat the team that they've drawn. So now that we've had this information about the draw, what we can go and do is predict what fixtures will be kind of cancelled or blanking in blank game week 30 and which fixtures might go ahead. So what I did was I took all the fixtures from blank game week 30 or game week 30 now, because no fixtures have been cancelled, and then I put a little bit of a dot next to them. A green dot means that they've drawn against a non-Prem side, and a blue dot means that they've drawn against a relative Prem side. So the green dots on paper should be beating the opposition, and in the blue dots, Liverpool taking on Norwich, Southampton taking on West Ham. One of those two teams will progress, and that leads to more of a maximum or minimum amount of fixtures cancelled. So what I mean by that is, for example, if Southampton win, their opposition in game week 30 is Burnley. Burnley have been knocked out of the FA Cup, so if Southampton get knocked out, that fixture will go ahead, but if Southampton don't, that fixture won't. We then look at Spurs versus West Ham, Southampton's opposition in the FA Cup. If West Ham win but Spurs lose, that game will be cancelled. But if West Ham lose and Spurs win, that game will be also cancelled. So if you guys can understand that, but if you don't, drop it in the comments down below. I know I talk quite quickly sometimes, don't have the clearest of voices, so just drop it in the comments down below and I'll try to explain it to you in text. So let's do a little bit of an experiment here. Let's just say that every team on here, the maximum amount of blanks are confirmed. Southampton go and beat West Ham, but Spurs also win, Liverpool win, and Chelsea also win, for example. We then have 3 fixtures on paper that go ahead. That's going to be Wolves taking on Leeds, Aston Villa taking on Arsenal, and Leicester taking on Brentford. Now let me ask you a question. If there's only going to be 3 fixtures and blank game week 30, would you free it, or do you think it's not as good of an opportunity to gain points, and therefore would you save the free it? Drop it in the comments down below. This has been a massive debate over on Twitter. I don't really know what side I'm kind of on. I do think not many of us would own these 6 teams, and therefore it might be an opportune moment to use the free it to take advantage of that, but these games might be low scoring, and maybe they're not the best options. So this is where the blank game week 30 free it comes into debate, and that's why I wanted to kind of put it out here, give you guys all the information as possible to help you make a decision. And I guess this might be a little more relevant to us that only have one free it. If you guys have both free it's, you can go absolutely bonkers. Free it in game week 27, free it in game week 30. Your chip strategy will be super flexible, but unfortunately those of us with only one free it have to choose when to use it. But as you guys can see on paper, this blank game week 30 is going to be more of a blank game week than 27. However, there might still be some doubles coming up, so that might add some value to this blank game week. But now that we've got the negativity of blank game week 30 out the way, or at least describe what could happen, I wanted to talk to you guys about the biggest double game week of the season, which will be double game week 36. So on paper, predicted by Ben Crellin, this will be the biggest double game week of the season, and therefore you guys want to take advantage of this. I personally will probably use the bench boost, but you guys could also use a triple captain. Another interesting strategy is actually to use a free it so that you guarantee 11 starters, or at least 11 double game week starters on your team. However, there are some complications about this. I think most of us do own that second wildcard, and therefore I'll be wildcarding before double game week 36 and probably use the bench boost so that I navigate that nice combo. As you guys know, I love a bench boost plus a wildcard combination. But unfortunately, nothing much is known about this. This will obviously take place after the FA Cup games are kind of postponed. The quarterfinals, most of those game week 30 fixtures will be allocated to game week 36, and therefore we might have some really good doubles coming up. So now that we've spoken about all the double game weeks, blanks coming up, all the major events, there will obviously be some more doubles, some smaller doubles coming up, just because there's so many postponed fixtures that have to be reallocated. So just keep your guys' eyes on that. But I think these smaller doubles, we can't necessarily go for all of them, and therefore we have to pick and choose which ones we attack. But now let's talk about chip strategy. What chips should you guys be using? Well, what I've done is I've gone and allocated the biggest doubles and blanks coming up. I think these games, or obviously you don't have to use a chip on them, but I think most of us will because it makes most sense. So I do have double game week 26, blank game week 27, which could also be a double, blank game week 30, and then the massive double in game week 36. So now let's talk about my own strategy, and I generally think for most people, the 2 locked in chips currently are going to be the triple captain and the bench boost, which right now I'll be using on Mo Salah in game week 26, and then bench boosting later in the season in double game week 36. Now you guys could change these around, but I just think from a triple captaincy point of view, we don't exactly know the fixtures coming up in game week 36, and therefore Mo Salah against Leeds and Norwich at home could be the last massive opportunity. Now there is also rumor about a potential Leicester triple game week, so if you guys want to go maybe for a Jamie Vardy if he recovers from his injury, a Maddison, a Daka, maybe even a Harvey Barnes, you could do that. But I generally think I trust Liverpool slightly more, and I just can't give up an opportunity to triple captain Mo Salah. So now that we've got those chips out the way, let's talk about the free it chips. So I generally think a good strategy to use is free it in game week 27 or free it in game week 30. If you guys have both of them, you could easily free it on both of them. And that's where we come to the template chip strategy of the season, which will be triple captain in game week 26, free at 27, free at game week 30, and then bench boost in game week 36. Now the one thing I want to say about the game week 30 free it is that we can't really prepare for those fixtures right now. No one's going to be making transfers for game week 30 in mind. I think most of us will focus on double game week 26. So what you guys can do is when game week 30 arises, you can assess the situation with your own team. Maybe you don't want to free it then. You could always free it another double game week. Game week 33 has been rumored to be another double. You could go for that strategy. At least you're a little bit more modular if you save the free it for later in the season. But unfortunately, if you guys only have one free it, then you have to choose between game week 27 and game week 30 in my opinion. You could always use it in game week 33 as I mentioned, but you have to choose 37 or not. So currently my strategy on paper is to use the free it in game week 30 or game week 33, but I'm not going to be using it in game week 27 because I still do think I can get a relatively respectable team in game week 27. I might just have to avoid those Arsenal assets. But then we move on to the last final chip, which I generally think most people are in kind of a similar thinking. It's going to be to wildcard somewhere between game week 30 and game week 36. Now, I think most of us will use this in preparation for that big bench boost in game week 36, but I just think that you guys can use it anywhere after game week 30. Maybe you want to dead end your team. What that means is you kind of bring in the assets for the blank game week 30 and then you transfer them out in game week 31 on a wild card. That could be a perfectly fine strategy to do, and I think generally quite a good one this FPL season. Then you wild card, get a fresh new team, and hopefully we know the game week 36 doubles by then. But I'm not really trying to put a game week on the wild card. I think anywhere in that range between 30 and 36 is perfectly adequate. As I mentioned, some more smaller doubles coming up, so maybe I want to prepare for those with that lovely fresh squad. So just to kind of conclude or wrap up, my strategy currently is to triple captain on most sell at 26, bench boost 36, free it in game week 30, and then wildcard somewhere between 30 and 36. But I think the template strategy right now is to triple captain as well, free it in game week 27, free it in game week 30, or whenever, game week 33, something like that. Wildcard similar time, then also bench boost in game week 36. But the chip strategy is super situational. I just wanted to share mine with you and share the template one that I've seen most people go for. But comment down below what your current strategy is and why you're going for it. But this is basically wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Hopefully I see you guys in the deadline stream coming up 1 hour before the deadline, where I answer all your questions and we generally have a bit of banter. So hopefully I do see you there, but I'm going to be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.